Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Ellen Como, your host, and I have no co-hosts. I have no guests today. It's all me. You're going to get me for an hour, and I'm going to be talking about a big passion of mine, a project that I have been working on, and I'm finally ready to start speaking about it on a very large level. If you've been listening to the show or any of my shows in the station, you went through kind of the walk with me when I invented BalaCore, which is a piece of fitness equipment, a bench floor model filled with air. And then from the very beginning, I talked about it being part of a vision of mine and then making it happen. And here it came. It came true. And being in the fitness world for over 30 years, you got to walk the walk with me on how I invented that product and brought it out to the public. Opened my first fitness studio. So you got to be part of all of that journey. Well, then in that journey and in my personality, I'm always seeing and visualizing other things and ways I could reach people and help other people in other ways. And once I established myself in one place and I can reach people as I have with the BalaCore, my mind starts to go, how can I uplift and how can I help others? And that's always been my passion, is what can I do to make someone else's life better, someone else's life more fulfilling. It brings me joy. It's where it's what motivates me to get up every morning. The show I'm going to be talking about is going to be an adult subject. So if you do have any children, I just have to say you might not want them hearing all the things I'm going to talk about. It's not going to be the whole show, but there's going to be definitely some things that I'm going to bring up that might be touchy if you have younger kids. So with that said, my new project, which I am so excited about, is menopause, talking about menopause, but going through menopause feeling beautiful, strong, and sexy for women. It's a big deal right now. There's so many women, and I see them in my studio every day. I talk to my friends out there in the public's eye. I see it, and they are struggling with different forms and different parts of the menopause. It's either physical, mental, emotional, or it can be all three things. Well, when it started happening to me, I'm in my 50s, I have been in fitness my whole life, and I have been a fitness model. So I'd pay my mortgage on my home from photographs of my body being fit. So it was really hard to finally get to a point where I have been in a world and had a mirror in front of me and had my body the way I wanted it and could control it any way I needed to. And all of a sudden, I didn't have control over how my body looked anymore, even doing the same exercises I was always doing, eating the same things I was always eating, doing the same things I was always doing were not working anymore. So when that started to change, being part of the fitness world and having that experience and being an expert in that, I started to be able to step back and start to experiment with what works and what doesn't work for going through the steps of menopause. And the first thing I need to say is everybody, men and women, go through menopause. For a man, it's called andropause. For women, it's called menopause. Different names, but the same thing. The symptoms are a little different, but a lot of them are the same. Some men react a little bit different than women. They don't have the hot flashes that women have, but they can. They've been known to. So there's things going on with both of us as we get to that age group. And the first thing I'm going to talk about today is the easiest part for me, the easiest part that I conquered with this, and that would be the exercise. Exercise and going through menopause or andropause. And I'm just going to talk about it as one general term today, so we're going to just talk about it as menopause, but I'm speaking to men and I'm speaking to women, both, when I'm saying this. Exercise. Everybody should be exercising anyway, but at this point in your life, you really need to be staying on an exercise program, and you need to lift weights, because this is a point in a woman's life and a man's life. Men's life testosterone comes down, women's hormones are changing, women are losing that ability to create muscle, men are losing muscle at a slow rate. So we have both of this going on both sides of the coin. You need to be lifting weights. That doesn't mean you need to be the one in the gym lifting the most weights, but you need to be consistent, and you need to have a weight more than a 3-pound weight. And with that said, if you've never lifted a weight in your life, you might be starting with a 3-pound weight. That's okay. It's better than what you were lifting before. And you want to make sure that when you are lifting weights, that you're going to someone, either a personal trainer or a group instructor, that's going to be able to teach you the proper form and technique when you're doing this. It's so important. Because if you start off wrong, you're going to end up injured. Because as we start going through these changes of our lives, we become a little bit less tolerable to beating up our joints, meaning we are at a greater risk of injury if we don't take care of our joints, because our joints are also getting they're getting less strong. And so that's why we need the muscle, need the muscle to be able to keep those joints safe. So there's a lot of reasons why you need resistance training in your program, to keep the muscles strong around your joints so your joints stay moving and pliable. You also need to have muscle because both of our bodies, men and women, our muscle is slowly depleting. It's not getting larger like it was when we were in our 20s and 30s and even our early 40s. It's starting to deplete, so we need to keep that muscle growing and we need to keep it going. And that's going to be by lifting weights. Free weights are the best way to go because you have a weight in each hand. Bars are okay, and you might want to start with bars. The one thing I have about bars that I don't really, they're not my first choice, is if you always are going to have one arm weaker than the other arm, or one leg weaker than the other leg. And if you're using one weight stack, meaning a bar or a machine, that weak leg is going to stay weaker because that stronger leg is going to take over. That's why the BalaCore is so great for it, because you're standing on air. So no matter what you do, both legs have to work independently of each other, and they have to give the same amount of intensity. So resistance training needs to be part of your program. A lot of people that are going through the changes of their lives, what they do is they do a lot of cardio, walking, running, hiking. Fantastic. Keep it up. You need to keep doing that. But that alone isn't going to help your body as much as lifting weights on top of it. So your program should look like resistance training at least 3 days a week and cardio 3 days a week. So that's the exercise portion of this. And I'm finding with me, what's really worked is I am lifting about 4 days a week, and I'm adding my cardio into my lifting, but I'm taking extra time to do 20 and 30-minute bouts of cardio as well. So there's kind of like a cardio surrounding all of my resistance training, and that's really helped to keep my weight down. And then the second thing that I'm going to talk about is is nutrition. Nutrition is very important for both men and for women, but they're a little bit different for men and women, I'm finding. So I'm going to talk about women nutrition first. And women, there's a few things that we're just going to have to learn how to give up. We can't get away with what we used to, with having our cookies in the afternoon. I go to the gym, I work out every day, my nutrition is 80% good, so I can have that extra piece of cake, I can have that pie, I can have that extra glass of wine. When you're going through menopause, if you're really trying to keep that weight off, you're going to need to keep the cleanest nutrition possible. It doesn't mean you can't have one day a week where you kind of go off and enjoy amazing food and have a glass of wine or whatever you're going to have, but for the most part, you're going to have to eat really clean. In the morning, it's important that within an hour of waking up, you have breakfast because you need to jumpstart your metabolism. Coffee is okay. Unless it's giving you anxiety, go ahead and have your coffee or your tea. Then you're going to go off and start your day. Mid-morning snacks are really important for everybody. But what might happen is while you're going through menopause, you might get hungry a little bit more, or your hunger might change. And if it does, that's okay. So let's say you're getting to your mid-morning and you've always had that snack if you're that healthy eater and you're not hungry. It's okay to wait until you get a little bit hungry and then have your snack. And then again, wait until you get hungry and then have your lunch. So you're waiting a little bit longer. You're not eating just because it's every 3 hours. And why I'm telling you that is when we go through menopause, sometimes we get a little bit more hungry when we don't need to eat. And I know I'm just confusing you by saying this because I brought up two things at once and they're overlapping. If you're getting hungry within about an hour and a half of having your breakfast, I want you to have some water with lemon in it, or you can have a half an apple. If it gets to 3 hours and you're not hungry yet, then go ahead and wait till you're hungry and then have your snack. because it can work both ways. There's days that I wake up that within an hour and a half after I had my breakfast, I was famished. And there's days that I wake up and I have breakfast and I'm not hungry for 3 or 4 hours later. Normally, I'd always stay on my routine. And I'm finding that the body is really why it's going through these changes. Your body is a great indicator of what you need. That doesn't mean to sit down, though, because you're hungry and have a full meal. Have an apple and some almonds and a little bit of protein, like a slice of chicken breast or a slice of turkey or something. So have a small little snack. It doesn't mean a major meal. So it's real important for women. You need to learn how to eat your smaller portions at every single meal as they come up. And then in the evenings, which is the biggest problem for women that I am noticing with all the women that I'm working with right now, is their evenings are the largest meals of the day, and they can't be the largest meals for you anymore. Lunch has to be the largest meal that you eat. Dinner has to be a snack. It cannot be that large. And they're finding more and more and more when women go to bed hungry, that's a good thing, slightly hungry, not starving, but slightly hungry. Because when you're sleeping, your body's repairing and your body's going through, and there's a lot of changes going on. So there's a lot of repairing that needs to be done right now. And that repairing is you're using the energy to repair your body. So if you go to sleep and you're stuffed, your body first has to break down all that food before it can start its repairing system. So that's something you want to look at and you want to take notice of. Now for men, it's a little bit different. Their metabolisms are different, and I wish I had the same metabolism that a man does, because they can just go through their food so much quicker. They need to just make sure they're eating breakfast every day, and they need to eat something small before they work out and make sure they have protein right when they're done working out. Because right when they're done working out is when they're going to need their amino acids and they're going to need their protein to keep their testosterone and to keep their muscle up. So that's the only difference with a man. And at night, don't overeat. Nobody should go to bed stuffed. Everybody should go to bed either feeling a little bit hungry or just comfortable. So with nutrition, also, this is the best time, the most important time in your life. You've got to get away from packaged food. You've got to get away from fast food. You've been hearing this anyway, but now, if you've never done it before, now it's imperative, because your body is not going to know how to digest that stuff anymore, because you're going through changes, things are happening. Even though you could get away with it before, you cannot get away with it any longer. It's done. You can't do that. So nutrition is going to be a big part of what you do. And you're also going to have to experiment a little bit with your nutrition. I've got to say, what works for one woman that I've been dealing with might not work for somebody else. And so if you talk to someone and they tell you this is absolutely how you have to do it, it's not going to work any other way, you might want to start getting a couple other opinions. You want somebody that's going to work with you on your nutrition and be able to kind of work with what's working and be able to step back and say, yeah, this is what has worked for maybe the 8 people I'm working for. This is not working for you. Let's look at something different. And if you start playing with your nutrition because you hear and you read in a book something, I should eat this and I shouldn't eat that, and I've got to put this in my nutrition, and I got to take that out, and it's not working for you, you need to step back and you need to look at it, because there is a reason why this isn't working for you. Just because it works for someone else doesn't mean it has to work for you. So there's going to be some experimentation involved as well. The best thing you can do, though, is keep all the packaged food out. Make sure what you're eating is whole foods. To stay away, not too much alcohol. I know they say have a glass of wine every night. You're not going to be able to do that right now, because this is not a great time for that. And also with women, you're going to start to metabolize alcohol different in your system, and you're not going to be able to tolerate as much alcohol as you had before. So that can lead to some scary moments for you, where before maybe you had your 3 glasses of wine. Now you have 3 glasses of wine, and it ends up being an embarrassing moment for you because your body's not metabolizing it the same as it did. So you need to back up on the alcohol. Men as well, a little different. They can tolerate alcohol a little better, and they can tolerate a lot more than women can. So the rules aren't going to be as stringent with men as with women when it comes to nutrition. But for everyone and for all of you that I'm speaking with right now, and especially if you're 40s, 50s, and 60s, whole foods. Try to stick to organic as much as possible. Stay away from fast food as much as possible, because that's not even food that you're eating. I don't know what it is you're eating. It's not food. It's not real food anyway. And also, every time you have a meal, I want to make sure that you have a small amount of a healthy fat, like a nut. I want you to have a healthy carb, an apple, a piece of vegetable, something, and then a small amount of protein, which would be your lean meats. It could be your legumes. It could be some quinoa. There's a lot of different proteins available out there. You need to make sure you have all three in very small portions for men, a little bit larger. Small portions for women, a little bit larger for men. So you can do that. That's the nutrition part of this. And I'm going to be putting recipes. I'm going to be adding a lot of things onto our BalaCore Facebook and our website. So you're going to get a lot of information about nutrition along with menopause. So that's the second thing. So exercise and videos coming out. I'm going to be doing some videos on exercise. So look for those. Those are coming. And then the second thing is nutrition. Now we're going to talk about the biggest part of going through this change. And we keep hearing that this is such a horrible change, and we keep hearing about all the bad things that we have. The women complain about hot flashes, and I can't sleep at night, and I'm getting that they call it what do they call it? It's like a menopause, meaning a menopause belly. And that started happening to me as well. I'm looking in the mirror going, what is happening to this body? I have no idea whose this is. I started to have the hot flashes. I'd be in the middle of teaching a fitness class, and then all of a sudden I go into a full-on hot flash. I'm actually having one right now, by the way. So they come, and it happens, and it's going to happen. And they make a big deal about it, but it goes away. It comes on, it goes. It's no big deal. I just move on with my day. The menopause part, the pot they're talking about, the little belly, that I've really controlled with some supplementation, and I'll share that later about what the supplementation that I am using, the 4 products that I've been using that have been working amazing. And I'm not telling you these products to sell them. I'm telling you these products because they've worked for me, and they're really, really keeping the weight off. It's been amazing, or bringing it down so I can control it. Because we're told we're going to gain 6 to 10 pounds. And if we believe that, we will gain 6 to 10 pounds, because our words become thoughts and our thoughts become actions. So please, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you start to notice some changes, don't think this is it. Okay, I have no control over it anymore. It's too big for me to handle. It's not too big for you to handle. Get into a gym. Start working out 5 days a week. Resistance training 3 days a week. Do your cardio around it. Kind of envelope all the resistance training with cardio. Make sure when you're eating, eat within an hour of waking up. Very, very important to get your metabolism started. When you're hungry, if it's within 3 hours, have some water or a half an apple, or have water with lemon and cayenne pepper. And I know we've heard of that all the time, but I love it. It's something that I live on if I'm hungry and it's not time to have something to eat yet. And go ahead and then have your lunch, small snack. And for women, dinner becomes a snack. Dinner's not dinner anymore, it's a snack. Men, wake up again within an hour of waking up. Make sure you have your breakfast. Then if you're a morning workout, then for men, if you work out in the morning, what I want you to do is go ahead, have your breakfast, work out, and make sure you have protein as soon as you're done with your workout. You need that to replace what you've just used in your lifting, and I hope you're lifting because you need to be. So that's all covered right there. It was a lot of information. I threw it out there. I wish I had a little chalkboard so I could show you, like all the little diagrams. We're on the air. It's kind of hard, but we changed the way we do the show, which was kind of just handed to me, which was, okay, I get 25 minutes to talk. I don't have the breaks. So I had it broken down a little bit differently, but I hope you got the information that I needed to give you. The changes that you're going through are real. They can be controlled, though, so you know that you can control them. You don't have to gain all the weight. You are going to have some side effects. You are going to have some hot flashes if you're women. You're going to have trouble sleeping. It is going to be a little bit harder for you to lose weight. You are going to notice your skin sagging a little bit more or being a little bit crepier. There's lotions for that. There are definite changes going on, and they're going to happen. Those are the changes that everybody wants to focus on. Men, headaches. They might not have the energy they had to before. They are also going to get a little bit more weight around, like everyone calls that spare tire area. They're going to notice some things going on with their bodies as well. Again, all of this stuff is going to be expected. Everybody's going to go through it. And now that I've put out all the stuff that's going to happen, when we come back, we're going to talk about some solutions and how we can look at that differently. We're going into break here. We're going to be right back. This is Ellen Como on BalaCore Fitness on your hometown station, AM 1220. Oh, wait, before we go, we have breaking news. So let me bring it over to our engineer. Go ahead.
KHTS breaking news. There is a joint FBI and NYPD police investigation resulting in a raid at a house in the 26,000 block of River Rock in Santa Clarita. Santa Clarita Valley sheriff officials said they are assisting Homeland Security serve warrants. Residents witnessed boxes and cars being confiscated and say a young couple has lived there for 3 years and never reported suspicious activity. Once again, FBI and NYPD involved in a joint investigation at the 26,000 block of River Rock in Santa Clarita. Back with Ellen and the BalaCore Fitness Show after the break.